of July 2026. Today we focus on leadership, accountability, and public trust. We'll examine a new global info analytics poll on the leadership of Johnson Esiedun Ketia, popularly known as General Mosquito, within the NDC. We'll discuss the minorities' walkout in Parliament over the Bank of Ghana governor, assess why refuse remains after the National Sanitation Day, and unpack political and legal debates surrounding Dennis Miracle Abuaji's Yoko bail. This morning, we have a lot for you here on ABC in the morning, and so you want to stay with us here on the show. Now let's bring you the quote of the day. Quote of the day is by Johnson Esiedun Ketia, General Mosquito, the chairman of the National Democratic Congress, who tells us that politics is about service to the people and not personal comfort. Indeed, you come to us, you ask us to vote for you, you ask us to put you into power, and that you want to serve us. And so when you ascend whatever position it is, the focus is about the people. It's about your service to the people, not to lord over the people, not to make it as if you are doing us a service, or you are doing us a favor by being in the position you are in. And so our politicians would have to remember that the work they do is service to the people, and that is the most paramount out of all that they do. Consequently, for everybody who is in any position of service, it is to the people that you are leading. The small group has been constituted, you have been elected, you have been appointed, you have been chosen as the leader of that group. You are to serve the people and serve for the better of the people. The people's interest remains paramount for you. It is not about any other good but the people's good. And so let us remember that as we go about our days, as we take up leadership positions, as we lead people, it is about them and not about any other thing or any other institution. I am ABENA MANTE, and I'm most grateful that you have joined me today here on ABC in the morning. We have conversations for you that you would enjoy. Would unpack Yoko and Dennis Miracles Abuaji. What really the whole issue is. Dennis Miracles Abuaji is finally out from Yoko's custody. He penned something on his socials and posted. He says, if it was meant to break him, it did not succeed. What really is it? Are there any other things that, or any other meanings which we could read into the matter? We'll look at the minority and then other conversations that really matter. Johnson Esiedun Ketia still in the news. Many believe that Johnson Esiedun Ketia is vying for the flag bearership position for the NDC ahead of 2028 elections. He has not formally declared a bid yet, but what really is it about? Global Info Analytics have seen it interesting enough to conduct polls on. Would peruse that today on ABC in the morning. We'll be taking a break, but when we return from the break, I'll bring you the newspaper headlines and then conversations that matter. And most importantly, hearing your voice, because your voice matters and your voice alone. I would love to hear. Call me on 0247257224, 0247257224 here on ABC in the morning. We're streaming live Facebook and YouTube. And so if you're leaving home, you can still catch the show online. ABC News GH. Like the pages, subscribe to the pages, turn on post notifications for the page. That way, when we are live, you will be notified that ABC in the morning is live. Also interact with us via socials at ABC News GH _ at ABC News GH _ leave us a comment and I'll be glad to read for your attention. And our website where all of the news comes as it happens, as it breaks and in real time is www.abcnewsgh.com, www.abcnewsgh.com. A big thank you to you for joining me this morning. Thank you to the production and technical team for putting together today's show. Let's have a great show. Right after the break, the newspapers. Do stay.
Things never change. The meals we grew up loving, the taste that brings everyone together, through every pot and every recipe, Gino remains the tomato mix you trust. Thick, red, rich, Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved. Some things never change. The meals we grew up loving, the taste that brings everyone together through every pot and every recipe. Gino remains the tomato mix you trust. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning here on ABC News GH. Let's turn our attention to the newspapers and see what they are telling us. We'll start with the Daily Graphic. Cabinet approves mining law overhaul. Land Ministry touts gains across sectors, and it comes with a picture of Emmanuel Amakofibua, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Also on the front page of the Daily Graphic, Achimota Forest regains original status. All right, I'd love to read that. And motorists raise concerns over Accra Tema motorway project. Yes, that project. I used the road not long ago. It didn't look good at all. I hope that they quickly finish the road. It's a major road for us, especially those who commute between Accra and Tema. And majority-minority clash over governor's appearance in Parliament. We'll look at that today on the show. Let's move away from the Daily Graphic to some more newspapers. The Ghanaian Times newspaper, government revokes EI 144 to restore Achimota Forest Reserve. Steps up fight against Galamsey. Again, the picture of Emmanuel Amakofibua. Why Accra's floods demand distributed resilience, not another great pond. I'm very much interested in this story. I'll grab a copy of the Ghanaian Times and read into that. Some more stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Informal cross-border trade hits 31 billion Ghana cedis. The Ghana Statistical Service is reporting, and NAS set to deploy 500 RMUs nationwide. Okay. And finally, establish customary land secretariats to curb land disputes. Traditional leaders told, and there is Dr. Gad Asomwe. I'm unable to get the name properly. Beg your pardon, sir. Beg your pardon. But well, establish customary land secretariat to curb land disputes. Let's move away from the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The Insight is also reporting. The Insight has for us, government backs bold mining reforms as cabinet endorses overhaul of 20-year-old mining law. Reports gains across lands and forestry sectors. And JEA Mills Memorial Heritage unveils activities for Atta Mills' 14th anniversary. Well, we are in July, so yes, we should be expecting that. Also on the front page of the Insight, Mahama cares for patients to receive first treatments at new cardiac catheterization laboratory at Kolebu. Okay, and there's a NATO summit promises billions for arms industry. Okay, some more stories from outside of the country, outside of the continent. Let's move on. The Chronicle newspaper, 112 pump action guns seized in anti-Galamsey crackdown. All right. I pray and I pray and I pray that we really win this war against illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey. Local rubber processors reject monopoly claims. And also on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper, chief challenges claims of Dintrahene Queen Mother over Usu lands in court. And the Chronicle today, I see their memory verse, Galatians chapter 4 verse 16. Have I now become your enemy by telling you the truth? No, you haven't. So tell us the truth, okay? Tell us the truth. Away from the Chronicle, let's bring some more newspapers. The Daily Searchlight are here for dictatorship. Minority walks out. But it's Bernard here for a dictator. Why is the minority walking out? Well, we will see. Stop playing to the media. Yariga cautions minority. And NPP nullifies constituency executive elections in 3 strongholds as leadership moves to protect internal democratic process. All right. So when would they hold the elections in these 3 strongholds and other places where the elections were not held? We also understand that the nominations for regional executives have started. And so MPP, when do you finish and end the conversation at the constituency level for people to now follow your regional level elections? We will see. End of 5G monopoly as NCA ends NCIG's exclusive 5G infrastructure and opens Ghana's wholesale market to greater competition. And finally, Argentina set up monumental World Cup final against Spain after comeback win over England. Yesterday evening was an interesting watch. Argentina versus England. Very, very interesting watch. We look forward to Sunday when it's going to be the Spaniards against the Argentines. Who is it going to be? We will see. Away from the Daily Searchlight, some more newspapers. The Exclusive. Government backs major mining law overhaul and stop the political noise and answer the 55 million Ghana cedi questions. Henry Inu Sambila fires at NPP. Also on the front page of the Exclusive newspaper, Cocobot settles outstanding non-DDEP cocoa bill obligations. And into some chieftaincy matters, Brekusu chief naps suspected illegal waste dumper. Great. Shout outs to the Brekusu chief. And Mahama leads at Tamil's memorial commemoration. Gold Board Ghana Water Seal 8.4 million Ghana cedis rehabilitation pact. I don't know how I feel about this matter. I really don't know. Galamseyers are spoiling our water. Gold Board that buys gold is also now helping Ghana Water to deal with the challenges they are facing in there. Very interesting. Yeah, we are a very interesting country. Okay, now let's move on to more newspapers away from the Exclusive. The National Enquirer, presidential envoy donates 100,000 Ghana cedis for dialysis care. And ECOWAS Kenya study NPA best practices. Okay, Global Jobs beacon Ghanaian youth. Opariado says so. And responsible mining drive gains momentum. Lands Minister tells us so. 14th, John Evans at Tamil's Memorial Lecture. I see I see former Lands Minister on it, and I also see Hannah Tete also on it. Interesting. So we have some great people to speak on the matter. On this matter, but Atamil's 14th commemoration launched. We look forward to it. President John Evans Fifi Atamils commemorating 14 years of his passing. Now let's move away from the National Enquirer for more stories. The business analyst gives us cabinet OK's 20-year limit for mining lease. Also, NDC Central Regional Chairman apologizes. They had been calling for his apology. Now we see that. Okay. And go and sin no more. GJA President accepts apology of Central NDC Chair. And Cocobot clears 162 million Ghana cedi cocoa bill arrears owed to non-DDEP holders. And on license revocation, ZPay pledges transparent engagement with Bank of Ghana. The Overseer newspaper, Gold Board Ernest Nakok with 12.65 million Ghana cedis for landmark gold seizure, and Cabinet restores full reserve status to Achimota Forest. NEIPVCTF signs Memorandum of Understanding to support Ghanaian entrepreneurs with 100 million Ghana cedi fund. And finally, Miracles Abuaji says he is out and unbroken after Iyoko detention and vows to lead NPP Communications Directorate. Bank of Ghana warns public on currency notes misuse, and NPP annuls constituency executive elections in 3 constituencies over alleged violations. Away from the Overseer newspaper, this is Africa News Today. How Mohammed's defense reforms reshaped Ghana's military and elevated everyday livelihoods. Service to mankind is service to Allah. Alhaji Agongo donates millions of cedis to flood victims. All right, most grateful and more blessings to you. And this is family house disputes. Tension brews in Bubuashi as senior police officer sees medical report after overpowering IGP's men. Complainant faces death threats. Interesting. I'd read that. Protecting 2 decades of sanitation gains reliable funding model critical. Stakeholders say so. And Yowa Overlord urges Mahama and Veep to enforce strict measures on matters. Okay, we'll read some more into that. And finally, Road Minister alerts downpours highlight contractors' low elevation floors on Sege Bator Aveime Mepe Road. All right. Well, let's bring some more stories. Daily Democrat is reporting Cocoa Board clears 162 million Ghana cedi cocoa bills debt, and Gold Board Ghana Water sign 8.4 million Ghana cedi rehabilitation deal, and Cabinet endorses landmark overhaul of mining laws. More stories on the Daily Democrat. Electrochem caught up in GRA's nationwide tax enforcement drive. NDPC holds validation meeting on draft results framework for the MTNDF 2026 to 2029, and Bekusu chief leads arrest of suspected illegal waste dumper. And finally, President Mahama to lead at Tamil's 14th anniversary commemoration. It comes with a picture of Alex Segbefia, who is the chairman of the JEA Mills Memorial Heritage. And we understand that going to give the keynote address at the 14th celebration will be Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, former Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, and renowned cardiothoracic surgeon here in Ghana. Let's bring some more stories for your attention. The Hawk newspaper, the award that silenced a champion, GJA Press Freedom Award winner, and the fire for defending editor's jail term. Okay, 3 Trees Paints Farmers HQ headquarters. Paint Giant gives Agriculture Ministry a 1 million Ghana cedi makeover. All right. Who hired the Iyoko crowd? Storm over protest demanding Dennis Abuaji's release. Okay. Afoko declares war on NPP divisions. Says party must heal wounds before 2028 battle, and launches comeback bid with 3 R's rescue plan. Also, Gold Board revives 3 Galamsey hit treatment plants. Okay, these are the stories on the front page of the Hawk newspaper. Daily Guide, Miracles Abuaji speaks. Yoko never quizzed me on 55 million Ghana cedi stolen cash. It comes with a picture of Dennis Miracles Abuaji himself and 2 Energy Commission staff caged. This is on the Aussie $208 million meth shipment. And NPP annuls elections in 3 Ashanti constituencies. Ex-NAFCO boss fights AG over UK travel. And also on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper, minority boycotts Bank of Ghana briefing over media ban. And finally, government to earn 550 million Ghana cedis from GL in 20 27. These are the stories on the various newspapers this morning on ABC in the morning. You should grab a copy and read. But we know that on 22nd of this month, July, the Atam Mills Memorial Lecture will be given. The lecture will be chaired by Hannah Tete, who is the United Nations Under Secretary General and Special Representative of the Secretary General for Libya, and also has been Ghana's Minister for Foreign Affairs before. Professor Frimpong Boateng will give the keynote address. The President will also be there. There are more stories for you in the newspapers. You should read them. But we'll take here. When we return, we'll peruse a lot of conversations here on ABC in the morning. Conversations that matter to you and I. Stay with me.
Playing for your country, enye easy. Scoring, enye easy. Winning, enye easy. You know what be easy now? Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocolate. This advert is FDA approved.
Some things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose a tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved. Some things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose a tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning. It's time for our front story, and we begin from the National Democratic Congress. Musa Dankwa of the Global Info Analytics has been publishing. Global Info Analytics as a body has published a poll, their latest poll on the NDC, one about their race for a flag bearer and also for a chairman in the party. It's quite a lengthy document. However, Musa Dankwa, Executive Director for Global Info Analytics, has been updating on his socials, especially Facebook. And so let me read that for you. There's very, very interesting results from the polls that they published, that Global Info Analytics published. And so yesterday, Musa Dankwa started by telling us that Nielante Vanderpoel takes early lead among NDC grassroots, but for some Pofu gives him a hot chase in the NDC chairmanship race and says more soon. We'll look at the chairmanship bit, but our focus is on the flag bearer bit. You know that President Mahama is in his second term, 2028. By 2028, we should be going to the polls to vote for a new president, and so by January 2029, we'll have a new president. The NPP have already held their flag bearership elections. They have elected Dr. Mahmoud Baumia as their flag bearer. We await the NDC and when they would also elect a flag bearer. At this point, the NDC has not even opened nominations, but there are certain people that have been picked or have been identified as people who may be in the race for the running to be flag bearer. And so this will not be the first time that Global Info Analytics is publishing on them or conducting polls on these persons. And so let's begin with that. And so Musa Dankwa posted about 21 hours ago on Facebook that Breaking General Esiedun Ketia still leads in the NDC race, but popularity is on the decline compared to April 2026 poll, compared to April 2020 poll. And so let's begin. When we look at, so on the, we have Johnson Esiedun Ketia, we have Kasiel Atoforsen, we have Harry Naidrisu, we have Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, Julius Deborah, we also have Eric Opoku, we have, oh, how do I forget this, beg your pardon, we also have Professor Joshua Alabi. And so when you look at the difference between April and July, the last time Global Info Analytics conducted a poll on these persons was in April, and we are now in July. That would give us, give or take, about 3 months difference. Johnson Esiedun Ketia, as at April 2026, was leading with 29%. Fast forward July 2026, he stands at 27%. He's still leading, however, his popularity has declined by 2%. It is a declining 2%. And then now we come to Atoforsen, who is the finance minister. Atoforsen at April 2026 stood at 19%. Fast forward July 2026, Atoforsen stands at 22%. And so he's still trailing behind Johnson Esiedun Ketia. However, his popularity has increased by 3%. And then Harry Naidrisu, the education minister. Harry Naidrisu stands at 11% in April, stood at 11% in April 2026. At July 2026, he stands at 6%. So his popularity has declined by negative 5%. And then we come to Professor Opoku-Agyeman, who in April 2026 stood at 8%. In July 2026 now stands at 7%. Her popularity has declined by 1%. And then Julius Deborah in April 2026 stood at 8%. In July 2026 stands at 5%. His popularity has declined by 3%. Professor Joshua Alabi in April 2026 was at 0%. In July 2026 now stands at 1%. It means he has appreciated in popularity by 1%. And Eric Opoku also stood at 0% in April 2026, now stands at 1% in July 2026. It means he has gained some 1% popularity. There are others who stood at 1% in April still stand at 1% in July, and so popularity has neither declined nor appreciated. And then there's the undecided, where the bulk stands at. Okay, the undecided in the NDC stood at 24% in April, but stand at 30% in July 2026. That means that the undecided have appreciated from 24% to 30%. The appreciation is by 6%. And so if anybody wants to make any inroads into the undecided, they need to place a lot of emphasis, because it could change your fortunes. And so at this point, when we look at this poll, we realize that the one who has made a lot of strides is Atuforsen. Atuforsen has made a lot of strides into the NDC when it comes to flag bearership race, from 19% in April to 22% in July. Johnson Esiedun Ketia has fallen from 29% to 27%. And so this is about who will lead the NDC. Again, you know that the NDC has yet to open nominations to open for people to declare their bid to lead the party come 2028. Now let's look at Johnson Esiedun Ketia, who is leading against all of the other people whom we expect to file nominations to lead the NDC. Esiedun Ketia, and so Musa Dankwa tells us that Esiedun Ketia has significant lead against all other NDC candidates, but Atuforsen holds him in check. The race is virtually tied with Esiedun Ketia 34% and Atuforsen 33%, and further 33% declined. That's why I say that if you want to make any progress, you need to tap from the well of the undecided. There's a huge population of undecided persons within the NDC who do not know whom out of these persons they would want to lead the NDC. And so now all potential candidates will need to appeal to the undecided to have them on their side. Who is going to be successful in this appeal? Juxtapose Esiedun Ketia with Atuforsen. The Esiedun Ketia stands at 37%, whilst Atuforsen, so Esiedun Ketia stood at 37% in April. In July, it is 34%. Atuforsen stood at 32% in April. In July, it has appreciated to 33%. The undecided for Esiedun Ketia stood at 31%. Beg your pardon. The undecided in April stood at 31%. Now they stand at 33%. And so either Esiedun Ketia or Atuforsen would really have to work on their undecided. Now let's look at Esiedun Ketia versus Haruna Idrisu. In 2026, in April 2026, Esiedun Ketia stood at 42%. Against Haruna Idrisu, in July 2026, he stands at 45%. It means that against Haruna Idrisu, he has appreciated better than we would see and better than what happened with Atuforsen. We look at Haruna Idrisu against Esiedun Ketia. In April 2026, Haruna Idrisu at 22%. Now in July 2026, Haruna Idrisu at 16%. That is a very steep decline. A very, very steep decline. The undecided in April 2026, when you put them Esiedun Ketia, Haruna Idrisu, the undecided were at 36% in April, and then now they have appreciated to 39% in July. Again, you would have to take advantage of the undecided population to gain momentum. Now put Esiedun Ketia against Professor Opoku Agyeman, and it stands the same. In April, it was 46%. In July, it still stands at 46%. Now, for Professor Opoku Agyeman, in April, it was 11%. In July, it stands at 15%. She has made some inroads. But the undecided stands at 43% in April, 39% in July. And so Professor Opoku Agyeman will have to do a lot of work to overturn this. Esiedun Ketia also would have to do a lot of work to have the undecided on his side. Now let's put Esiedun Ketia against Julius Deborah. In April 2026, Esiedun Ketia was at 43%. Fast forward July 2026, he is at 45%, and so he has appreciated. For Julius Deborah, he stood at 18% in April. Now in July, he stands at 16%. He has declined or depreciated. The undecided stands at 39%. Same for April. So nothing really has changed for the undecided when it comes to putting Esiedun Ketia against Julius Deborah. Now let's take a look at the various regional blocks and how the candidates are faring in the regions, especially the strongholds. In the various regional blocks, the poll shows Atto-Forson with the momentum as all other candidates decline across major block. But in the northern block, the table appears to have turned as Harry Idris's support appears to be collapsing, with all other candidates gaining at his cost. Now let's look at it. This is for the swing regions. Esiedun Ketia in April 2026 had 24%, but in July 2026 has 23%. The change is negative 1%. Professor Opoku-Agyeman in April 2026 stood at 9%. In July 2026 stands at 8%. Change is negative 1%. Atto-Forson in April 2026 stood at 28%. In July 2026 stands at 29%, gaining 1%. Julius Deborah in April 2026 was at 9%. In July 2026 falls to 5%. That is a negative 4 depreciation. And for others, 1% in April, now 4% in July, an appreciation of 3%, and the undecided 23% in April, 27% in July, an appreciation of 4%. Everything just shows that whoever wants has to ensure that they are making a lot of inroads in the undecided or with the undecided. Now let's look at NDC in the Akan regions. For the candidates in the Akan regions, for Esiedun Ketia, in April 2026, he stood at 31%. In July 2026, he has fallen to 27%. That is a negative 4 depreciation. For Professor Opoku-Agyeman, in April 2026, in the Akan region, stood at 8%. In July 2026, he stands at 6%, which is a negative 2% depreciation. For Atto-Forson, he stood at 21% in April 2026 for the Akan regions, but in July 2026 has appreciated to 25%, gaining some 4%. Harry Idris stood at 9%. He has fallen to 3%. That is quite steep or drastic, losing 6% in the Akan regions. Julius Deborah stood at 6% in April 2026. As at July 2026, he stands at 5%. He has lost 1%, and for others it stood at 1% in April 2026, has appreciated to 3% in July 2026, making some good numbers of 2%. And the undecided again in 2026 of April, 24%, and now in July it is 31%, appreciating by 7%. And so if any of these candidates want to do better in the Akan regions, again, the undecided is a population that is for you. You would have to make some inroads there, really capture a huge chunk or portion of the undecided population for you. Now let's look at the various candidates in the voter OT regions. This is a region. These two regions are regions that really come out for the NDC. How are the candidates faring in these two regions? Esiedun Ketia in April 2026 stood at 30%. Fast forward July 2026, he has fallen by 6% to 24%. Professor Opoku-Agyeman stood at 12%. In July 2026, she has fallen to 9%, losing 3% of the population in the polls. Atto-Forson stood at 12%. He has very much shot up astronomically to 23%. That is a positive 11% shooting. Harry Naijisu stood at 5% in April 2026. At July 2026, he has fallen by 3%, losing 2% of the population. Julius Debra was at 5% in April 2026. At July 2026, he's fallen by he's falling to 3%, losing 2% of the population. And others stand at both 1% for April and July. The undecided again are showing us something. The undecided stood at 35% in April. Now in July, they have appreciated by 3%, shooting up to 38%. And finally, the candidates in the northern regions, where we see the northern regions also come out to show up for the NDC. Esiedun Ketia has shot up from 26% in April 2026 to 31% in July 2026, appreciating by 5%. He has appreciated by 5%. Professor Pokwa Jiman has not appreciated, neither has she lost, stands at 7% both in April and in July, and so she still maintains her momentum. Whether she would appreciate, we will see how she would tap into the undecided. Still in the northern regions, Atu Forcing stood at 8% in April, as at July 2026 stands at 12%, appreciating by 4%. Harry Naijisu, who is from the northern part of the country, has not shown up. In April, he stood at 35%. We come to July and he has fallen drastically to 19%, losing 16%. And you can see that Atofortin and Esiedun Ketia have eaten out of that 19% that he lost. Now we come to Julius Debra, who has also stood at 2%. Between April and July, he has not fallen, neither has he risen. Also for others, it was for others in the northern regions, it has appreciated from 1% to 2%, and so the appreciation is by 1%, and the undecided appreciated from 21% in April to 27% in July. That is 6% increase. So this is how the flag bearership race is looking like for the various candidates in the NDC. But finally, before we move our way, Global Info Analytics sought to also look at the chairmanship race. And for the chairmanship race, the people who are in the running: Nilante Vanderpoy, Ofoswan Pofo, Alhaji Said Sinari, Sofo Azoka, Akwesi Opon Fusu, Niyama Shite, and others. Nilante Vanderpoy stands at 26.8%. Ofoswan Pofo, who is a former chairman, trails behind Nilante Vanderpoy at 19.3%. Alhaji Said Sinari follows with 6.3%. Sofo Azoka follows. Okay, Sofo Azoka does better than Alhaji Sinari at 6.4%. Akwesi Opon Fosu at 1.7%. And Niyama Shite at 0%. The others stands, let me bring you others at 4.1%, and those who have no opinion at 35.3%. And so all of these candidates would again have to take advantage of the undecided or those who have no opinion. But at this point, it looks like Nilante Vanderpoy is in a comfortable lead. And these are the results from the polls conducted by Global Info Analytics. We're looking forward to speaking with a representative from Global Info Analytics. At this point, we have not established contact. When we do, we will speak with them more into the numbers they have brought. But between April 2026 and July 2026, a lot has been going on in the NDC. All of these potential candidates, how are they going to galvanize their base? How are they going to consolidate their base? How are they going to step up to ensure that victory is theirs? We wait to see what they do. We'll take a break at this point. When we return, we'll bring you more on Front Story here, where we'll look at the minority walking out of Parliament. Why did they walk out? We will bring you all of that when we return here on ABC in the morning. Do stay.
Greater Works 2026. Speaking, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, Bishop Tudor Bismarck, Bishop Mike Okonko, Pastor Paul Adefarasin, and our conference host, Pastor Mensa Otabil. Date, Monday the 3rd of August to Friday the 7th of August 2026. Morning sessions, Tuesday to Friday. Time, 9 a.m. Evening sessions, Monday to Friday. Time, 5 p.m. each night. Venue, ICGC Christ Temple East. Special song ministrations by Joe Metal, Once More 6, Nathaniel Bassi, Dunsin Oyekan. For more details, visit gwcentral.org. Greater Works 2026. It's coming down.
Playing for your country, enye easy. Scoring, enye easy. Winning, enye easy. You know what be easy now? Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Some things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose the tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Baby, we are second. So you have to pon need advert. Let's why you so by advert no you to pon na kwala media.
Do you need a media house to shoot quality TV ad for your company or products? Bring your company's vision to life.
And me come from media house we are potential films. So you must don't worry. So open to you to pon a course through advert there contact woman.
We help businesses build their brands.
Ukraine omoduma what say omo quality can somebody try.
Reach their target audience and ultimately drive sales and revenue growth.
Omo be new. Omoduma is perfect. Contact no good script about your product, sound, jet. They will give you quality pictures. How do you see it? How do you feel it? Wow. So put your young on Makasa. First number 0541 16 28 28. And repeat 0541 16 28 28. Call them.
Potential firms. We believe in quality.
still watching ABC in the morning live here on ABC News GH. Let's take you to Parliament, where the minority has walked out, or they walked out of Parliament over the majority's decision to not allow the media into conversations with the Bank of Ghana governor, beg your pardon. So the governor was to answer some questions in the House. Majority said that it would be held in camera, and minority said no, and so the minority walked out. Addressing the media, MP for Fuansi Aribi Kojo Oponkroma laid out the minority's concerns with regard to this decision. Let's listen to him.
Those are the forex proceeds that they are using for market intermediation. Why is it that
we sincerely apologize for that loss in sound. We won't bring you that video, but like I was telling you, the minority has been criticizing the majority in Parliament. They say that the minority has refused to allow for a media coverage of the governor of the Bank of Ghana's responses to some parliamentary questions. Johnson Pandit Esiama, Dr. Esiama, who is the governor of the Bank of Ghana, was to appear before Parliament to answer some very critical and urgent questions. The minority had expected that this answers, or this question and answer period, would be one for the media, and so that everybody, I mean the general public, would be aware of it. But the majority said that nope, this would be held in camera. This will be held in camera, and so the minority were unhappy about it. We know that the ranking member on the Economic and Development Committee, Kojo Oponkroma, who is also the MP for Fuansi Aribi, had been seeking some information on the source of foreign exchange used for the bank's interventions in the forex market. He was also seeking for clarity on the framework guiding those interventions and the total amount of forex injected into the market since 2025. And I mean, this is one that I believe that many of us would have been glad to understand, to follow proceedings, follow questions. But well, the majority said nope, we would not allow this questioning to be in camera, and so to be for the media, it will be held in camera. So the minority also felt that we can't be a part of this process, and they walked out. We'll bring you that video pretty shortly, but whilst and I'll also be taking a break. After that break, I'll bring you conversations on all that has been happening. But you know what, before that break, let me read the statement by Dennis Miracles Abuaje, who has been released from Iyoko custody. You would recall that Dennis Miracles Abuaje was arrested at the Accra International Airport and subsequently handed over to Iyoko. Since he was released, he has gone on to release the statements. Let me read that for your attention. He says, "I am out. I am unbroken, and I am more ready than ever. Thank you, patriots." I'll come back to it, but let's listen to Kojo Oponkroma when he addressed the media over minorities' walk out over Bank of Ghana's questions and answers.
the Bank of Ghana is here to admit that the ability to intervene on the market is as a result of the domestic gold purchase program. And that what they are doing is that they are mobilizing forex proceeds from the domestic gold purchase program, and those are the forex proceeds that they are using for market intermediation. Why is it that the majority is preventing the governor from saying this to the entire country? Is it because he's of the view that it undermines the stories they've been telling the people of Ghana, that it is because of the gold board and some new strategies that they have brought? Is it because the governor is here to admit on record that it is as a result of the domestic gold purchase program that they are able to mobilize these forex resources and inject onto the market? Is it because they are afraid that if that is said, it will become glaringly clear that the person responsible for this is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia? Is that the reason for which they are clearing the media from the gallery? In times past where the governor has been here, you have been in the chamber to cover live. Various stations have covered it live. What is it that they are afraid of that now they don't want you to cover? When the Electoral Commission chair and her team came here, many of you covered it live. It was also a committee of the whole. Yes, the rules say that we have a right to open it up or not, but you have nothing to hide. And so in the precedent gone by, it was opened to the public. And we are astonished, disappointed that they don't want the media to cover the responses that the governor is about to give. The Bank of Ghana is here to admit that the ability to intervene on the market is as a result of the domestic gold purchase program. And that what they are doing is that they are mobilizing forex proceeds from the domestic gold purchase program, and those are the forex proceeds that they are using for market intermediation. Why is it that the majority is preventing the governor from saying this to the entire country? Is it because he's of the view that it undermines the stories they've been telling the people of Ghana, that it is because of the gold board and some new strategies that they have brought? Is it because the governor is here to admit on record that it is as a result of the domestic gold purchase program that they are able to mobilize these forex resources and inject onto the market? Is it because they are afraid that if that is said, it will become glaringly clear that the person responsible for this is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia? Is that the reason for which they are clearing the media from the gallery? In times past where the governor has been here, you have been in the chamber to cover live. Various stations have covered it live. What is it that they are afraid of that now they don't want you to cover? When the Electoral Commission chair and her team came here, many of you covered it live. It was also a committee of the whole. Yes, the rules say that we have a right to open it up or not, but you have nothing to hide. And so in the precedent gone by, it was opened to the public. And we are astonished, disappointed that they don't want the media to cover the responses that the governor is about to give. The Bank of Ghana is here to admit that the ability to...
Well, you're welcome back. So that is Kojo Ponkroma, MP for Fancy Arabi and ranking member for the Economic and Development Committee. Now, away from that, let me read a statement by Dennis Marcos Abuaji, who was released from Yoko custody. He says, "I am out, I am unbroken, and I am more ready than ever. Thank you, patriots." Thank you, patriots. Let me go ahead and read the statement. 4 days ago, just one day after I declared my intention to serve our great party as National Communications Director, I was picked up and detained by Yoko. A false narrative was put out about my arrest, but Ghanaians are not fools, and neither are the good people of the New Patriotic Party. The facts and the truth will prevail. For the records, there was no discussion of any 55 million Ghana cedis with me by Yoko, none. To every party faithful who hit the street, who raised their voices, who refused to be silent, I saw you, I heard you. From my detention, word of your protest reached me, and it kept my spirit standing tall. You did not just defend Dennis Marcos Abuaji, you defended the principle that no voice can be intimidated into silence. Let me be clear, if the intention was to break me, it has failed. If the intention was to scare me, it has failed spectacularly. I will lead New Patriotic Party's Communications Directorate to command the narrative, and no cell, no false story, no intimidation will change that. Fuel has only been added to fire. To my legal team, party leadership, and every single supporter who stood with me, thank you. The journey is no longer mine alone, it is ours. We move stronger, louder, together, built to lead, ready to win. And he adds hashtag command the narrative, hashtag unbroken, unbowed, and hashtag M4C. And so this is Dennis Marcos Abuaji with regards to his detention with the Yoko. Yoko released a statement talking about some monies that had been misappropriated, and for which reason Dennis Marcos Abuaji had been detained. Now, Dennis Abuaji also tells us that there was no discussion about said amount of money, 55 million Ghana cedis. And so why was he detained? Well, we leave that to our imaginations, or waiting for Yoko to give us more information on the matter. It is a case of he said, they said. What is it going to be? But we'll take a break and bring you some excerpts from Parliament yesterday. When we return from Parliament, we'll have some conversations here on ABC in the morning. Do stay.
country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Greater Works 2026. Speaking, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, Bishop Tudor Bismarck, Bishop Mike Okonko, Pastor Paul Adefarasin, and our conference host, Pastor Mensa Otabil. Date, Monday the 3rd of August to Friday the 7th of August 2026. Morning sessions, Tuesday to Friday. Time, 9 a.m. Evening sessions, Monday to Friday. Time, 5 p.m. each night. Venue, ICGC Christ Temple East. Special song ministrations by Joe Metal, Once More 6, Nathaniel Bassi, Dunsin Oyekan. For more details, visit gwcentral.org. Greater Works 2026. It's coming down.
Baby, we are second. So you never too poor. Need an advert. Let's why I saw by your advert. No, you too poor. Not for any media.
Do you need a media house to shoot quality TV ad for your company or products? Bring your company's vision to life.
And then we come from media house. We are now potential films. So you must don't worry. So open to you too poor. Of course, you true advert there. Contact woman.
We help businesses build their brands.
Ukraine, quality,
reach their target audience, and ultimately drive sales and revenue growth.
Maybe new. Perfect. Contact good script about your product. Sound, jet. They'll give you quality pictures. How do you see it? How do you feel it? Wow. So put your young on Makasa. First number 0541 16 28 28. I'm repeating 0541 16 28 28. Call them. Number one,
Potential firms. We believe in quality.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Some things never change. The meals we grew up loving, the taste that brings everyone together through every pot and every recipe. Gino remains the tomato mix you trust. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Chair. So why are we saying that the chairperson of the governing council in this case should be a minister?
Mr. Speaker, you see, these are civil universities, so to speak. So you don't even have to strike any balance between ensuring that there is civil control over our armed forces. This is born out of what? Our democratic experiment. So if you equate this university to the University for Mines, etc., where you have a sector minister and why he is not the one chairing the council, it is because it is an entirely civilian institution. But, Mr. Speaker, this particular arrangement is not done in a vacuum. Currently, we have the constituent colleges which would make up this university when the bill is passed. You have Kofi Annan. The council of Kofi Annan is actually chaired by the minister. GAFC is chaired by the minister. You see? So that is the thinking. Right now, Kofi Annan is a university. The only difference is that it doesn't award its own degrees. When you pursue a master's or a PhD at Kofi Annan, the supervising university is GIMPA. GIMPA awards the degrees. That is the only difference. But the council of Kofi Annan is chaired by the minister. So if you are now bringing all these constituent colleges together to form a full-blown university, the university council must mimic the current structure we have at the various constituent colleges, so that that level of civil control is not destroyed. It's very important.
Very well, the floor is still open. Let me hear from Honorable Baba Jamal.
You see, from my colleagues' own statements, we are looking of a civil control, which I agree entirely with you. But why should it necessarily be the minister? We may have a situation where the minister may not have the academic background to chair that council. We may have a situation. And so you give the opportunity to the president to select a suitable person to chair the council and still maintain the civil control that we want. Like other universities, because the university, even though it's under military, but civilians will attend it anyway. So if you want to maintain the civil control, then why not give the opportunity to the president to appoint somebody with the necessary background to control it? Because you are bringing about 3-4 institutions together. The person, you must have a suitable person to chair it. So I agree that we go with the proposal made by the chairman. So we allow the president to appoint somebody suitable to manage that institution. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Yes, let me hear Honorable Mahama Shaib.
Speaker, I want to disagree with my good friend. Speaker, you see, he started by confusing us with this civil defense type of analogy. But you see, council chair necessarily should not be the minister. We think that from the university bills that we have done up to date, never mind, Mr. Speaker, that this is a specialized defense sort of, but it's still a university. And so we must go in line with what we have.
Because in all other universities, it's the president that appoints the chair.
Yes, my humble view is I will leave that to the president to appoint. If the president chooses to appoint the minister, so be it. If he chooses to appoint the chief of defense staff to chair the council, that should be it. Let's leave that prerogative for the president.
So I'll therefore put a question on the proposed amendment to clauses by the chairman of the committee. Yes.
Madam Speaker, if you can stand down 6, and probably this is for your committee, maybe we can end consideration so that I do consultation further tomorrow on clause 6.
Very well. Then all the clauses that are stood down, please do the consultation so that we can bring the consideration of this bill to an end by tomorrow. So again, that brings us to the end of the consideration stage of the National Defense University Ghana Bill 2026 for today. Yes. Honourable members, as a matter of fact, we have exceeded 5 hours So it is within my hands to have the House adjourn, having been fortified by Standing Order 56. Honourable members, once again you are reminded that there will be a memorial lecture in honor of the first Speaker of the Fourth Republic, Right Honourable Justice D.F. Annan, at the auditorium, and all honourable members are cordially invited. The program is slated for 11:30. The clerk, is that the case? Is it 11 or 11:30? So the program at the auditorium, members should be seated at 11:30. In view of that, we cannot adjourn to 12 o'clock. We would adjourn to 2 o'clock. So in the circumstances, the House is accordingly adjourned till Thursday, 16th day of July 2026 at 2 o'clock in the forenoon.
Over the past decade, many young people have reached adulthood without adequate knowledge on HIV prevention. Poverty, unemployment, substance abuse, early sexual activity, multiple sexual partners, and limited access to youthful-friendly health services continue to increase their vulnerability. Mr. Speaker, HIV is not merely a health issue. It is a development challenge. It affects the country's human capital by reducing productivity, increasing healthcare costs, and weakening economic growth. In 2024 alone, Ghana recorded 12,614 AIDS-related deaths, including approximately 840 deaths among young people aged 15 to 24 years. These are lives lost during the most productive years of our nation's development. The epidemic also places enormous pressure on the healthcare system through the cost of testing, treatment, and long-term care. It disrupts education as many affected young people experience stigma, absenteeism, and school dropout. Families are burdened with increased medical expenses and reduced incomes, thereby deepening poverty and inequality. Mr. Speaker, these developments threaten Ghana's efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal 3 on good health and well-being, and Goal 8 on decent work and economic growth. Protecting the health of our young people is therefore not only a public health responsibility, but also a constitutional obligation and an investment in our national development. Mr. Speaker, while I commend the government, the Ghana AIDS Commission, Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, and development partners for the progress made in expanding access to treatment and prevention services, current trends call for renewed national action. I therefore wish to make the following recommendations. Government should operationalize the National HIV and AIDS Fund as established by Act 938 in 2016 to provide financial resources for the national strategic response. Government and all stakeholders should intensify nationwide HIV prevention and awareness campaigns, particularly in schools, tertiary institutions, and communities, using both traditional and digital media. Government should provide adequate and sustained funding for HIV prevention programs while working closely with religious organizations, traditional leaders, civil society organizations, and youth groups to combat stigma and misinformation. And lastly, Parliament, through the Health Committee, should engage the Ministry of Health and the Ghana AIDS Commission to assess the effectiveness of current interventions and ensure Ghana remains on course to ending HIV as a public health threat by 2030. Mr. Speaker, the statistics presented by the Honorable Minister for the Interior should serve as a wake-up call to all of us. We must not see this simply as a recruitment issue, but as a national development challenge that requires urgent and coordinated action. The youth remain Ghana's greatest asset. Every HIV infection prevented preserves a future teacher, doctor, engineer, entrepreneur, farmer, security officer, or public servant. By investing in prevention, education, early testing, and treatment today, we're investing in a healthier, more productive, and more prosperous Ghana. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
All members, that's the statement emanating for Member of Parliament for Dafiamia, Busie Issa. Honorable Sandari. I only have the permission to call him Asandari. The floor is now open for comment. Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this statement. Let me commend Honorable Dr. Sebastian Sandari for bringing this important matter to the attention of the House. I believe the statement is born out of the recent information given by the Minister of Interior that about 1,300 of the youth who applied to recruit into the security services were HIV positive. Mr. Speaker, this probably will have been news because historical data shows that we have had prevalence among the youth, especially between the age of 15 and 24. I think why this is so much worrying now, and the news, is that there is a change in the disease burden. Historical data shows that about 11% of the burden of HIV infection has always been with the age group 15 to 24. But from the data we have now from Ghana AIDS Commission, it shows that for 2024 alone, out of the 15,000 infections, 4,000 of these were within this age group. It shows that now the disease burden, 30% to 31% of the disease burden is now with this age group, 15 to 24. That is 3 times what has always been the situation. And it is worrying because this is a youthful age. Ordinarily, we think that the initiation of sexual activity should not be within the ages of 15, probably until after 18 or 21. Shortly, the Minister for Youth Development made, in his response to the question in this House today, indicated that we have similar proportions of the youth exposed to drugs, especially red. So we are now beginning to get a double burden. We have this population disproportionately targeted and infected by the disease, and the same population also exposed to drug. Mr. Speaker, it will surprise you to know that unconfirmed data shows that people now easily buy aphrodisiac than they buy protection, such as condom. And shown in the data that has been presented here, only 14% of the people who have initiated sexual activity have used condom, only 14% among this group. That's for females, and 28% for males. This one, it means that over 70% of people in this age group that in the last time have been involved in sexual activity have not used any form of protection. And that is challenging. And it's quite serious, and we need to pay attention. I feel that our interventions are not achieving the desired results. And until we pay attention, we are going to retrogress. The progress that we have made as a country in fighting HIV will be reversed, and that will be dangerous. And we all know that between the age of 15 and 24, that's an active population can't have them being infected. So I think that we have to relook the strategies. I think that the interventions that the National AIDS Commission or the Ghana AIDS Commission will have to be looked at. And I side with the maker of the statement that probably the Health Committee, together with the Ministry of Health, should sit with Ghana AIDS Commission to look at the interventions that we have in place to target this group. If not, this country will have a ticking time bomb, especially drugs combined with this condition. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I'll thank the maker again, and thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute. Thank you.
Yes. Honorable Doctor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the state.
You're welcome back from Parliament. What transpired yesterday in Parliament? It's time to have some conversation on the show today. We'll be turning our attention to the minority walkout. We'll also look at Sanitation Day and why we still are seeing the filth on our streets. And then we'll look at Dennis Miracles about it. Some people say it is political persecution. Some say it is justice that is being served. What is it really about? And then if I have some time, we'll weigh in on Global Info Analytics poll that has been conducted, how the NDC is looking ahead of 2028. But I'm not going to do this alone. I have joining me this morning Sami Dakwa, who is an NPP communications officer in the Tema West constituency, and Abdul Rahman Mwadan, an NDC communications team member. Gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you.
It's been a while since I had you guys on set, so I'm glad to see you today. So, Sami, how is Tema West? I mean, just over the weekend elections, were you guys able to hold yours?
So let me say that currently I'm the former communications officer.
Oh.
In the wisdom of delegates, they said they prefer a new person.
Oh, did you stand?
I contested.
Okay.
Which I respect their decision. But for me, I think being a communicator goes beyond serving as a constituency communications officer. So I told them, most of them were crying, and I told them we will still continue to serve the New Patriotic Party in that capacity we've always served. So it is not because we lost in the election we relent, but with that might, with that strength we've had over the years, we will still continue to serve the party. But Tema West MPP is good. We have a new crop of leadership, and we trust that our seat that NDC took in the last general elections, the 22,000 vote difference, we'll be able to change it and recapture our seat back.
But how was it in your constituency? How was the feeling like? We know that some places have not had the elections yet. Some election results have been annulled in some other places.
So your colleague media people, after the elections, most of them came to me and told me that, wow, these elections have been very peaceful. The national leadership wanted us to have 2 polling stations, but in the wisdom of the EC and the elections committee, we had 5 polling stations. So we started the elections around 7, and by 3 we were done, and counting was ongoing. We didn't record any incident of vandalism, any incident of chaos. It was a very peaceful and serene atmosphere, and when the results came, everyone accepted it in good faith. Now we have our new leadership that were sworn into office at the place.
Oh, just when it ended?
After the elections, they were sworn into office, and everything is ongoing.
Well, before we end the show, maybe I'd ask you some more questions about the NPP and your elections, your bottom-up approach. Madam, how are you and the NDC? Latest poll from Global Info Analytics, you people say that you want General Mosquito to still be your chairman. You don't want him to go and aspire for president. Madam.
Well, thank you very much, and very good morning to yourself and your cherished viewers this morning. I want to pick my conversation on where my good brother.
I've asked you a question, Madam. It's not about conversation. I said, how is the NDC?
Because it's very important.
How is the NDC, Madam? Madam, hold on. I'll give you the opportunity to weigh in. I'll let you weigh in on the MPP.
That is why NDC is doing so
good
well as a political party and as a party in government. We are delivering on the basic and pertinent promise that we give to Ghanaians.
All right.
You from education, you realize how transformative our educational system is now. Going, you look at transport and realize how the transport minister, Honorable Joseph Bukorenikpe, is transforming the sector. Trying to bring in reforms to make sure that Ghana's transport and aviation becomes one of the best in West Africa and Africa. Just 2 days ago, he went to launch the 3D cameras and security features in the Terminal 3 of our Accra International Airport, where you and I, when we are traveling out of the country, don't need to take your belt or your shoes again. This is how seamless the system is now. And the economy, I don't need to talk about the economy because we are not a party that will hold lectures at various auditoriums preaching to Ghanaians what we can do to the cedi or what we can do to the dollar or what we can do to the inflation. The records are speaking for itself, and that is NDC as a government, and Ghanaians should be hopeful that NDC will never fail them, and will not relent on our effort to make sure that the mandate that they gave to NDC in the 2024 election, we are going to live up to expectation.
You've answered your question, so that's great.
But you didn't actually answer.
Exactly why I
answered it. That is what NDC is good at.
Sami and Wada, we'll not start.
No. He has drifted from the question, set his own questions, answer, and at the end of the day, he has not answered.
He asked how is NDC.
But let me help you.
Sami, don't help me. Don't help me because I want to help you. Gentlemen,
what I want to say
let me start my conversation now.
That
help me because I didn't ask you. Nobody asked you.
That research by
Sami and Madam, we will come to it.
It's an agenda.
We have an agenda. We have against that Honorable Johnson.
Hold on.
NDC or who's
gentlemen,
that is why I didn't want to dwell on
Madam, you not wanting to dwell on it. You decided not to answer my question, but no problem. Like I mentioned. Hold on. Yeah, that's why I said Sami shouldn't.
But you had your time. You chose to say other things. Before
we end,
her question.
I will be asking the same question. So maybe more than you would have been able to put yourself together.
Is in a comfortable lead,
Sami,
whether they like it or not.
Sami, let's start.
Any agenda from government
Sami,
will not
thank
work.
you. We will end.
Yes.
We will end with that conversation. But let me start with the walkout in Parliament, and I'll start with you, Sami, because it is the minority. You've called for the Bank of Ghana governor to come to the House and come and answer questions about the currency exchange rate and all. He's come to the House to answer the questions. You say that if the media will not be allowed to cover it, then you will not be there. Why?
Yeah, Abena, thank you very much once again. And let me also take the opportunity to greet our viewers who are watching us this morning. Let me also greet my brother Rahman, whom I'm meeting for the first time. Yeah, so
constituency though.
Oh really? You're in Tamawest?
Yeah.
Oh okay. Wow, that's fine. Nice meeting. So let me say that first of all, this walkout is not an agenda against the government. Let me re-emphasize on that point.
Okay.
That you see, the minority, when you check their dealings, they've always been supportive against any national agenda, any developmental agenda. But what happened yesterday is just to protest against why you, the media, was disallowed to actually cover proceedings, something that have happened all this while. You understand? So by precedent, whatever happened in sittings, committee sittings and everything, the media is allowed to cover. So why is it that for the first time the governor of Bank of Ghana is coming, because they have already asked some pertinent questions which on the other paper he has responded, which that paper has become a public document. Everyone is aware of whatever answers he gave to those questions. So what is the incumbent government and what is the majority afraid of? That the speaker is saying that this one is going to be held in camera and that they will not allow the journalists and the media people to cover. So for me, it is more or less like we standing for the general Ghanaians, we standing for the media people. Because let me say something. When it comes to the Bank of Ghana, everything they do affects every Ghanaian. Because issues like inflation, issues like our gold reserves, issues like our foreign exchange, they are all issues that affect you and I. They affect the ordinary Ghanaian who sells at Mokola. They affect the ordinary Ghanaian who is a salaried worker. They affect the farmer. So why is it that we have questions for the governor and that they are saying they will not allow the media to cover? Because at the end of the day, the media, they are people that will take whatever happened there to the masses. So why are we preventing them from listening to whatever is ongoing? And you see, when it comes to parliament, they are representatives of the people. We voted for people to go and represent us. So if at the end of the day, there's something ongoing that the people, the representatives, think that this is not right, they have every right to protest. And that is exactly what happened. So for me, if the government and the governor of the Bank of Ghana thinks that they are doing the right thing, then they should allow the media to cover. Unless, of course, they want to tell us that they have something they want to hide from the masses. And some of us, we believe that is the case, because NDC over the years, that has been their stock in trade. Because always what hitherto they had been championing while they were in opposition, now that they are in government, you see them doing otherwise. And that is how we've known them. So that is what I think happened in Parliament.
Well, these are some sensitive matters. The majority believe that it's not all sensitive matters. I mean, it's not right that sensitive matters will go out, especially matters that will hurt the economy. Isn't that justified?
Madam, you see, that is why I said that what is sensitive about you and I knowing what is happening as far as the economy is concerned. Because at the end of the day, like I said, everything they do at BOG directly impacts every Ghanaian. So what is sensitive about we knowing what is happening there? And I told you that whatever questions they were bringing him to come and answer was already forwarded to him. And he gave his responses on the other paper, which is already a public document. So what are they afraid of? That they now want to prevent the media from covering. That is the issue we are talking about. Because at the end of the day, we think that the BOG, everything they are in charge of, that is our stability. You see, I even had an issue which they were saying that it is proceeds from domestic gold purchase. That is what is helping our exchange rates. Some of us said that, and these NDC communicators and their people debunked it. So we want more details as to how it was done. We know the gold reserves the former MPP government left for this government, and most of them disagreed with us when we said it is what we left for them that is helping the stability of the city. And this was re-echoed by the governor of the Bank of Ghana. And you see, some of these things, we wanted it to be the media people to cover it so that they will bring it out. It is not we, MPP, the minority in government, that will bring it out. We wanted everything to be open so that whilst he is speaking as the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Ghanaians would know that what we've been saying over the years is right, because NDC just came into office 1 year and some months. They couldn't have done any magic to ensure the stability of our city. It is the work we MPP did. Our gold reserves
and all that. That is helping. You understand? So these are some of the issues that we wanted it to be open. We wanted Ghanaians to know. So why is it that they are shielding the media from covering that engagement? Why is it that they don't want Ghanaians to know? And that is the issues we are championing. And that is why I think minority staged a walkout as a protest to support the journalists and also to support Ghanaians, because they are preventing Ghanaians from getting to know sensitive information which we think would help us.
Madam, are you shielding the Bank of Ghana governor from scrutiny?
Yes, it's so funny and laughable to actually hear MPP communicators across various platforms trying to act as saints or trying to act as if they are should I say golden boys or darling boys of accountability and transparency. That notwithstanding, there is a popular African adage that states that a man who throws away his fishing net shouldn't complain that the river has the fish. Look, we have seen precedents in this country where former BOG Governor Anderson turned down the calls of Parliament to come and answer the said pertinent questions that my brother is raising this morning. But tell me, how many times did we see former Bank of Ghana Governor Anderson appearing before Parliament?
My concern is, are we coming to justify?
No, I'm building a point.
Okay.
Now, but we have a Bank of Ghana, current Bank of Ghana, Dr. Asiama, always at any material movement, availing himself to the call of Parliament. What is more accountable to somebody that is willing and at all time availing himself to this call? Notwithstanding, when you read the dictates and the proceedings of Parliament, you realize that Parliaments are the masters of their own laws and rules. So you cannot, because the rule or the law doesn't favor you, you want to coin it in a way that will suit your peculiar interest. That will not hold. When you look at the Standing Order 266, that's the meetings of committees of Parliament, and it states that, permit me to read, proceedings of committees shall be held in public except otherwise determined by the committee. Now, yesterday, what happened clearly? This was a committee of the whole that we are calling an independent body. Starting from the inception of Ghana's democracy, tell me how many independent bodies were called to Ghana's Parliament and were held in public?
The question
unless it was a proper agreement.
The question is, I want to appreciate Madan. So now the people who are paid with the taxpayers' money, they are doing us a favor by showing up. Is that what you are trying to say?
Is it people that
were paid with taxpayers' money? Are they doing us a favor by showing up, based on the argument you have made
by showing up? I don't
to speak. You are telling us former governor did not show up.
Yes,
how many people have shown up?
Look, I'm building a point to show that if they are saying that we are shielding this particular BOG government because of whatever they perceive to be, we are hiding. That I know that is not true. I'm setting a ground that we are not hiding anything.
Okay.
And in contradiction to that, we have a governor that is always willing to appear before the committee. And as I was saying, the Standing Order 226 is clear. You have to be able to convince the committee that or give reasons why you want this hearing to be public. And then when that is convincing, then you have it, shall I say, granted to your wish. But you cannot, or you aren't, I don't know how to put it, but you cannot convince this committee. And the only, avenue you have, or the only way you have, is to walk out from, the chambers. Is that how we count for accountability? The BOD governor was sitting right in front of your nose, prepared to answer any question that you are bringing on board. So what deter you from going ahead to ask the question? Look, minority, currently is losing their relevance as far as holding government accountable. Affirmative marking is now one of the destructive catalysts of the NPP, and they must at all time look into it, because prior to the 2024 election we have heard he saying that the minority seat is not spiritually fit for him. And I'm seeing manifestation of that because he's leading the micro minority into disarray. Because important issues like having VOG governor in the house to answer questions, and you are running away. You see, it clearly shows that NPP parliament has actually lost the credibility. They has actually lost the direction. And Ghanaians, I know that Ghanaians are watching them keenly.
But according to the standing orders too, Mwadan, these conversations, these questions and answers should be done in public unless the committee states otherwise. And so it means that the committee stating otherwise is actually the outlier issue here.
Yes.
So ideally, the public must know. These are matters about the Bank of Ghana. What really is the Bank of Ghana governor coming to say that will be so damning to the point that you say that the media must be out of the conversation? Isn't it to the benefit of the Bank of Ghana as an institution that answering certain questions would be very much open to the media, so that the media and the public also forms their own opinions on matters? Because since Pandit Isiama, Dr. Isiama assumed office, there's been a lot of questions, especially coming from the minority side, about how the CD has been strengthened. And so if you can dispel the kind of aspersions or the opinions that the minority are bringing out that majority say are lies, don't you think that it is in the Bank of Ghana's best interest that we are all informed of what is happening?
Look, I just want to ask a simple question. What the majority did, was it legal or illegal?
What, who?
The majority trying to, actually stop the minority request. That is specific Honorable Kojo Nkrumah request for making, it public. Was it legal or illegal?
But actually, per the standing orders, Order 266, meetings of committees shall be held in public except otherwise determined by the committee. And so both of them are right in their own words, aren't they?
How is the minority right here?
Because of the standing orders.
The minority wasn't able to actually convince the committee on why this proceeding should be public. Because Parliament is guided by Constitution and the standing orders.
Good. So Madam, I want us to educate our public. That's why I'm asking you the question, because it says that this door must be opened, right? Yeah. So if we want to close the door, it means that you have to rather change my mind on why the door should remain closed or should be closed. Do you get it?
Who are those making the request? You see,
that's what I'm asking you that. That's what I'm asking you that. So if to avoid the back and forth, don't you think that it is in the governor's interest, the Bank of Ghana's interest, that the public follows this conversation?
Well, I think accountability is very important.
Okay.
And if public is allowed to actually have a feel at how the proceeding will pass out, it's okay. But we cannot coin the rules or the laws that is governing our parliament. You get right. And you stated that BOG, Bank of Ghana, in fact, is one of the sensitive offices in this country. You get it right. And the things that they do there is very important, even though they are in charge of how our CD and everything, inflation and how the economy, alongside with the Ministry of Finance and other stuff. But we must also appreciate the fundamentals of the laws that are governing our institutions. Do you get it right? Have you ever seen the administrator of Common Fund appearing before the parliament and we allow media houses to cover it? No. NHIS boss, the same. Do you get right? Electoral Commission is the same until some material movements and negotiations are done, then both parties will agree and the hearings are made public. What is so different and what is there that the minority cannot understand? People, Ghanaians in the 2024 election voted for you people to go and make decisions and laws for them. And what you can do is to be staging walkout anytime things doesn't fit your interest. Parliament doesn't exist to make sure that it fits only the interest of the minority. It is there to make sure that it protects the rules and the fundamental that is governing them. And until that is done, I plead that the minority should keep quiet, and if they want the government to procure tablets for them so that they will sit in their various houses to follow proceedings, I think that will be done, because I don't see the relevance of the minority in parliament once they cannot sit down anytime, should I say, there are cases in parliament that doesn't suit them. No, let us leave this conversation beyond that and look at the legalities, or have they broken any condition, or have they broken any provision as far as the standing orders is concerned. No, you get right. Everything was done in accordance to the dictates of the standing orders.
All right. Sammy, yes, if you, the minority, were interested in accountability, as you said, wouldn't you have still stayed in parliament or in the chamber for the conversation, whether it was held in camera or was made public?
Abena, it's listening to my brother, it's rather unfortunate with some of the things he was saying, and you could clearly tell that he has a lot to learn as far as parliamentary proceedings are concerned. I heard him read one of the rules in parliament, which I was very happy. But in his submission himself, he went against what he just read. You understand? Because you said that when we bring an independent body, it should be open to the public, unless otherwise. You understand? That is what you read. I listened to you very well. That is what you read. So unless otherwise, it is not for the minority to justify. Because the thing is there that it should be public. The media should cover. So if there is any reason why the media is not supposed to cover, then the leadership must let us know. So it is not up to the minority to give reasons why they want it to be covered, but rather the thing is already there. It is a precedent that whenever the governor from BOG comes, the media must cover it.
Well, it's precedent the law.
When you were speaking, I disagreed with you with almost all the things you said, but I kept my cool. You see, I'm coming to give him dates. He was saying that Addison did not have his engagement with the media coverage. That is also a lie. I'm giving him specific dates. On 8th of April 2024, when Ms. Addison met the Public Accounts Committee, the media covered it. On 5th March 2024, that was the whole committee of Finance Committee. That one too, the media covered it. You see, I just want him to know that most of the things he said were lies, because per precedent, whenever the governor of Bank of Ghana comes, the media must cover it, unless of course there are pertinent issues or reasons why the leadership of Parliament and the Finance Committee thinks otherwise. Then they have to bring it to the minority and everyone for them to agree. But in this case, it was not brought. They thought the media will cover it. Then boom, it will come that they will not allow the media to cover. And you see, some of the issues where the answers he gave on the order paper, where the answers the governor gave on the order paper, and the issues surrounding why he was called. The minority thinks that there are issues that affect every Ghanaian. There are issues that we all have to know, because a very good example is this exchange rate issue. It has been a topical issue. We've debated it back and forth with our brothers from the other side. And some of us believe that it is the work His Excellency Nanado and Dr. Baumia did that helped us with several gold reserves. That is what is helping our city, the strengthening of our city. They disagreed with that, and that was stated in the answers the governor gave.
No,
you understand? On the other paper. But it is on the other paper.
I can show us the response. You said that.
But haven't you read the other paper? What I am saying is, you see, some of us, when we come on TV like this and we give the evidence, sometimes people think that it is politics as usual. You understand? That is why we believe that pertinent issues like this, which would help the public discourse, which will shape public conversations, we should allow the media to cover it, so that they will bring it out, because the media should be seen as an independent body. Sometimes when
I have a concern.
Sure.
The minority, one too many, have exited the chamber. You staged the walkout because things did not go your way. Please let me land. The concern, people have voted you to represent them in parliament. You have constituted yourself as a minority because you belong to one party. If things are not going your way, for the sake of accountability, why do you not continue to subject yourself to the processes and listen rather than leave?
You see, Abena, if you will be fair to the records, is it only NPP that have staged?
I'm talking about the parliament.
No, I'm coming.
I'm very straight.
In this current,
let me ask him. Let me ask him.
No, you can't help me. Whatever you've churned out, I like.
Mother, let me say. You think I make sense?
No. That is their stolen trick.
Oh no.
So let me go on with my point. But please, it is my time, so let me flow. When you have your time, you can also flow. But what I'm saying is, I'm asking you a fair question. Is it only MPP that have staged a walkout in parliament? I'm asking you.
Same as I told Madam. Yes, I get you. But same as I told Madam that I don't want to stray away.
I want a yes or no.
Obviously a no, but I don't want to stray away from this parliament.
You see, some of us, when it comes to parliamentary proceedings, we have learned it right from tertiary institutions.
That's fine, but for the context of my conversation.
I'm coming. I was a member of student parliament. You understand? And I know that staging a walkout is part of parliamentary proceedings. It is part of the protest which the majority or the minority is entitled to. And they can actually adopt that strategy whenever they want to adopt it. And I've already told you that they didn't just stage that walkout, but they did it because they felt what was going on was wrong. And that is what I've told you, because how can the BOG, the governor of BOG, who has been called to account to the people of Ghana, because the office he is occupying is not his office, his family property. The office he is occupying is for the people of Ghana. So we deserve to know whatever is going on in that office. So why is it that Parliament, that is a representative of the people, have called you to come and account for certain things, and you are preventing the media that will carry sensitive information to the public? What are you hiding? That is the question. What are you hiding? Why is it that you don't want the people to know whatever answers you have to the question? And why is the incumbent NDC government, represented by the first deputy speaker, shielding the governor of the Bank of Ghana from accounting to the people? That is the conversation we are having. Staging a walkout does not mean the minority does not want the governor to account to the people. In fact, it is the minority that actually called the governor to come and answer certain questions. So in the first place, the minority is for accountability. But what we are against is the incumbent NDC government, through the first deputy speaker, trying to prevent the media from covering proceedings. And that is exactly what we are talking about.
Okay, well, I'll move away from this minority walkout and then turn my attention to the sanitation day.
Look,
Mother, you want to add something?
It will be very fair that we set some, context very right here.
I'll give you 2 minutes.
We have all been, involved in parliamentary movements. Panel all my days from the University of Cape Coast, where I served as deputy speakers from, several parliaments in the University of Cape Coast campus. Look, walkout is not the only avenue for minority to protest their dissatisfactory to whatever is happening in parliament. And I'm telling you this morning that this current minority has actually staged a lot of walkouts. That is even more than the percentage that they accrue in the 2024 elections. And you claim that you are seeking for accountability. The person who is there to account to you is sitting right under your noses. and you are running away from the accountability that you are calling. Is that one to accountability? You claim that you brought this gold reserves policy, blah blah blah. Where was this your gold reserves policy? Once our dollar, once our cedi was brutally punished by the dollar, where was this your gold reserve? Once our inflation was skyrocketing, where was this your gold reserves? Once unemployment was killing the young people in this country. So when we came as a government, we have been able to bring proper leadership. Properly, have we reduced unemployment from 10 to 4% to 10%? Have we unprecedented in this country? I think we reduced unemployment from 10 to 4% to 10% for MPP. That is unprecedented. That is the record of MPP. That is why I tell you that I am you have your chance. When we're talking, for the youth, ask them. When we are talking, you told me you had your chance. Allow me to answer my which they promise the youth of this country. You see, it's a failure. I will move away from that. Doesn't mean your argument sounds right. You claim that is when you are 24 hours you go to jail, go to prison, I'm telling you, what makes it a failure? Thank you so much. They are even running a straight day. You don't do that. I won't do that. I will move away from that more than I think in 2 minutes. It's actually but you are moving away from that more than you don't do that. Government called on all of us to come and shoot Madan. Madan, I'm moving away from that. Government called on all of us. Gentlemen, if you will heckle each other, we will not finish all the call. And what have you guys done? Madan, I come to you. NDC government is moving. Government called on us. That is graceful issue surrounding flooding. So that we should go on. The flooding on July 29, Madan, government called on us to come and clean the country Friday and Saturday. We are done cleaning, and up till now, the heaps of filth, of rubbish are still along our gutters on our roads. Why are you failing on your responsibility when it comes to sanitation? Your question is so ambiguous. That is not how the question is. I need you to hold on a bit. You see, that is not how. That's not how my question should be. He has painted them. No, you just told me that that's not how my question should be. Are you the one to I put the question in context more than you called us, and this is for the attention of all my viewers, so that it's not swayed that I have premised the question wrongly. You called us for sanitation. Yeah. You called us to clean up. Before that, there were a lot of concerns that when we clean up and the rubbish is put at the edges of the gutters, mostly, we see that it stays there for too long a time. Today is Thursday. The cleaning was done Friday and Saturday, and so that would be about 4 to 5 days later. Yeah. There are various areas where we are seeing the heaps of rubbish that have not been collected. And so for you who called us to clean, our MMDAs, various stakeholders, duty bearers who are supposed to deal with the menace, if the citizens have cleaned and the rubbish is still there, why have you failed in the sanitation fight? That is my question. That is fine. That is fine. But I will still stand by what I said. We haven't failed on our strength in fighting that catastrophe that befell our country some week back. You see, it is very important for us to appreciate this conversation in a nationalistic, form, with that politicizing this whole thing about flooding and sanitation this morning. Because when our homes, or when there is heavy downpour, it doesn't know NDC, it doesn't know MPP. That is why it's important for us to have honest conversations that will immune to the benefit of Ghanaians, that will also push government in delivering upon their task. You remember vividly that when this announcement of the 2-day exercise, was announced, that everybody must join hands to make sure that we clean our environment and make sure that we have some kind of serenity around. A lot of questions about where this, shall I say, fields or heaps are going to be sent. And I think the second day of the cleanup exercise, President John Dramani Mahama told the Zoom Lion to actually activate some of their dampers, three of their damper sites that has been dormant for years now. So it is important that government had a backup plan. Do you get it right? That like after the cleanup exercise, we convey this shall I say heaps of sand, or shall I say silt, after this siltation or whatever, to those damper sites. I think what we need to be talking this morning is about the supervision of this particular activity. And for me, I'm one of the person that's always believed that our MMDCs has a lot to do as far as this sanitation and flooding issues is concerned in this country, because President John Dramani Mahama cannot come to Nungua to ensure that the heaps of sand that is, scooped from the gutter are taken to where it's supposed to be. It is the responsibility of the assembly to supervise or make sure that all this that is lying on our gutters are sent to where it's supposed to be. That is what we need to do. And I always
do we not plan ahead of it?
And I always say that, look, it is high time we start calling out our MMDC that is failing on their jobs and their responsibility. Because look, we are being paid, and they are being paid with taxpayers' money, and they have the responsibility to be accountable to the people. We will not be an MPP government that will always squander money. That will always squander money that is supposed to be used to get this unfortunate incident. $350 million were given by World Bank to a sanitation ministry.
You are digressing from the question.
I'm coming.
No, I don't have enough time.
Look,
I don't have enough time.
I'll come there.
I don't have enough time. My question is that did we not plan ahead of it? Because if you are saying we have to hold them responsible, perfect. I agree. But President issued a statement ahead of the day. Did our MMDCs, our local assemblies, all of the relevant duty bearers, did they not plan ahead of it so that 5 days later the filth is still there? That is my question.
Well, in most of the areas that I've passed, actually, I haven't seen that do.
Okay.
But in areas where this is done, I think that a call to action must be
a call to action.
A call to action.
Oh, are we?
We must push them and to make sure that that is not repeated. And I heard the government is trying to institute every month that we should have this particular exercise.
That's a question.
Going forward,
I'm glad you bring that.
Yes, so going forward, we need to review what the 2 days exercise is and some of the things we need to do right going forward, so that those mistakes doesn't happen.
Okay.
You get right. That is my position. I am not trying to shield any MMDD who is failing on their jobs. If you have failed as an MMD, you should be sanctioned.
So, Sami, no, I'll come to you. Hold on, Madam. You want us to institute it every month?
Every month, yeah.
Why should I leave my work? Because in as much as I appreciated the cleanup exercise, a communal labor, it was also a disservice to businesses who are making money, and I had concerns with it.
The service to business as in?
We are paying sanitation levy, aren't we? We are paying a lot of money for people to take care of our sanitation issues in the country. And so if they are sleeping on the job, if they are not up to task, why should I, who has already paid levies, paid taxes to have my environment clean, have to be the same one to close my shop for 6 hours, for 4 hours to clean the same environment?
Now, riding on your analogy, you have rented a house and the house is at the verge of collapsing on you. Will you be in that house and say, oh, I'm waiting for the landlord to come and fix it? Will you stay in that house?
So I'll move and collect my money from the landlord.
Oh, that's so. Once you are paid. So I'm just trying to, bring your mind to something here. Look, government has a responsibility to play. You and I, as an individual residing in our locality, has a role to play, regardless that we are paying sanitation levies.
To enforce the laws.
So that was what I was saying. That
so the
enforcement we need to enforce the laws that is governing our MMDs as far as sanitation.
So that would be
in this country.
Us doing 2 days labor every month.
That is not it. As I said, that one was just a short term. Policy to able to clean our surroundings, to make sure that we understand the structural failures or the engineering failures that is engulfing our cities as far as this flooding is concerned, so that we can review the should I say the whole process going forward. We don't make those mistakes again. That is my point. You get right. Look, NDC government, we are doing so well when it comes to this issue of flooding fighting as far as this country is concerned.
Okay.
And that is stated on records, and that must be protected at all costs. And we will not allow anyone to rewrite the history, to rewrite the records as far as this is concerned. If my brothers from the MPP want us to visit their books of failure as far as this is concerned, then we are ready to engage them on that particular
Well, Sammy, sanitation. We've cleaned the city as best as we can. However, we see heaps of rubbish. Madam says he has not seen it. Unfortunately, I have come across heaps of rubbish as various areas. We've seen this continue over and over again. Various institutions, are we sleeping on the job when it comes to sanitation in Ghana?
Abena, thank you very much. Abena, I hope you saw that I kept mine cool.
At some point you came to. At some point you spoke.
I hope that he also keeps his cool.
Sami, go ahead.
You see, I'll start by saying that listening to my brother, it is clear that he has to update himself on several issues as far as governance is concerned. How can you say you were some few minutes ago you were arguing that you have not failed as a government, but in your own submission you agreed that some MMDCs were failing and those people must be held accountable. You see, my brother, you have a lot to learn. The truth is that what he doesn't know,
I have a lot to learn.
What he doesn't know is that the MMDCs are representing the president wherever they are. So when they fail indirectly, it is the president who has failed. That is why I told him that his government, the incumbent NDC government, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has failed, and he has to agree.
Why have they failed? Why have they failed?
Before I even start my submission, I just want to throw my heart out to all the families that lost their relatives.
Out of your 8 years now, then.
Can I let me please? It is a very serious issue we are talking about. People lost their husbands, people lost their wives, people lost their children. It is a very sad issue simply because of someone's incompetence, simply because of someone's negligence. And you think it is an issue you can play with. You think it is an issue you can play with, my brother. People lost breadwinners of families. You see, some of the videos, I remember I watched a certain video that the gentleman, the flood was taking the gentleman, and one lady was shouting, "Hey, what can we do to rescue the guy?" And the flood was just taking the guy just like that, and he lost his life through the process. I stay in Tema Community 5. For the first time, the Gapoa quarters got flooded. You understand? You see, when we are talking about these flood issues, let's leave politics out of it, because it is a very serious issue. And I have heard even pro-NDC people sitting on national TV and radio asking pertinent questions that, hey, why is it that whenever NDC is in power, we record such serious issues, people losing their lives?
But has anybody conducted any research into that?
No, MPP was.
So I would want us to stay away from that.
MPP was in. I'm coming.
Let's stay away from that.
MPP was in power for 8 years. did we record people losing their lives through flood? But NBC,
flooding or not?
do you remember the popular June 3rd disaster in Circle?
I don't want us to get into situations like that.
People lost dear ones.
Sami, let's stay with my question. Let's stay with my question.
NBC has come back to power.
Failure
And look at what is happening
of the duty bearers?
You see, first of all, what I want to say is that, you see, NDC, whenever they are in power, they exhibit their incompetence. Because for some of us, I think that as a leader or as a very good leader, you don't have to be reactionary to issues. You have to be proactive. You understand? And that is why I remember very well His Excellency Nanado ensured that we created the Sanitation Ministry. That is someone who did not wait for flooding issues to happen. Oh, please, can I go on? I don't like how you are interjecting. Keep quiet. You have your time.
My time is almost up. If both of you do this, we'll not be able to finish. I'll give you all of them.
I'll do the same thing.
No, Sami, I will not allow you to do the same thing.
Please, can
I will not allow you.
That is a leader, a visionary leader who thinks before a mayhem happens. But what did His Excellency John Dramani Mahama do? Because he saw that people were grieving, people were crying, they've lost their properties, people have lost dear ones, then he has to do something. And do you remember what he even did? Whilst His Excellency Dr. Baumia was with the people, moving from house to house, he was in helicopter, moving in the skies.
He was assessing the
situation. But His Excellency Dr. Baumia was with the people, moving house to house, sympathizing with them. But because you are in government, now you don't respect the people again. You are in a helicopter moving in the skies.
Sami, my question was, but we'll move on from that.
Abena, let me come to the
30
issue.
seconds.
So what I'm saying is that the NDC government, they failed. They are not a government that are able to institute policies that are able to help our situation. They are always in the political mood, like His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, because he saw that people have lost their dear ones. Hey, let me do something. Then let me create a 2-day national cleanup exercise. And that is, so I agree with what you said, that there was no proper thinking, proper planning into the 2-day national cleanup exercise. And that is the result of what we saw. At the end of the day, there are people, the MNDCs and people in government just went to take videos and pictures that, oh, we are doing something. But the real work was not done. Because after the cleanup exercise, the fields and other things are still there. Today, when I was coming at Community One Market, I saw most of the fields still there. It shows that they didn't really think through the policy. It is not just about you bringing a policy, but it is more about the implementation. And I think the NDC governments have failed, and we have to change them. We have to kick them out of government. They are a party that whenever they are in government,
thank you.
The repercussions to the Ghanaian people are many.
Thank you. Madam, I'll come to you, but you can call me on 024-725-7224. 024-725-7224. My time is fast spent. Madam, a moment. Yes. I've exceeded my time. You guys have been going at each other, and so you have used all of my time. So I'm going to give you each 3 minutes each. I will not allow you to speak on the matter again. I'm moving on to my next question because I'm being told that my time is up. I've been given just a few minutes. Dennis Marcos Abuaje. We're waiting on Dennis Marcos Abuaje. Now, I'm pleading with you, gentlemen, not to heckle each other so that we can finish the conversation. But my viewers, you can call me on 024-725-7224, 024-725-7224, and waiting on the conversations we are having. I'll start with you, Sami, at this point. Dennis Marcos Abuaje, somebody who is vying. I want to start from here. Dennis Marcos Abuaje, I'm not going to let you weigh in on the other conversation we had done. Who is vying for your National Communications Director position, was arrested. He's been subsequently released on bail. He says that it is not a process that is going to bar him from where he's going. It's not going to dampen his spirit. As an MPP communications member yourself, how do you feel about what happened over the weekend?
You see, what happened last weekend is disgraceful. What happened last weekend is an attack on the rule of law. What happened last weekend is political witch hunting. What happened last weekend is just a way that NDC government want to curtail people from, criticizing their
Sammy, just a moment. I have a caller on the line. Let me pick him. Hello, Ilyasu.
Good morning.
Ilyasu, what to say? Nyamiado mi ahu ye patro ma oneso kakra na mintie wiye. Ilyasu, ene dia mente won kakra o ma oneso kakra ma me.
Hello.
Yeah.
IMF. Sikahin eno omu de beye sanitation patrol sister bra paloma NDC ba power pen omu de zembe bi fam paloma. And then 1 year patrol bra paloma bridge Philippi ayamba na ko senka your first new stations na hwe your friends wala ka ayamba say you never president man because I am fagin it in 2015 3rd June and ananka also no president no fagin and assassin the same June eje shinipa isusu funipa adan nana buta flag by nemo de eje shinipa adan sika hina IMF edema omo asa.
All right, Ilyasu. Thank you, Ilyasu. Thank you for calling. You can also call me and share your thoughts. 024-725-7224. Sammy.
So, like I was saying, as NPP, we believe in the rule of law and we believe in accountability. If the incumbent NDC government thinks that if anyone has committed anything, where the person must be brought to book, including Dennis Abuaji Miracle, they should just follow the law. And you see, we all know the laws. IOCO is an investigative body, and the law says that they can investigate issues and make arrests. You understand? So when they make arrests, within 48 hours, they have to grant the person bail if they found anything.
If they found anything, let me hold you there. Ebenezer from Tama joins me on the line. At this point, I'll be holding you during the conversation. I'll let you flow. Ebenezer, let me hear you.
Good morning, my sister.
Good morning, Ebenezer. How are you?
I'm fine. You too?
I'm fine, thank you. Please go on. Let's hear you.
And greetings to my communication officer from Tama West, Mr. Dankwa. Okay. I want to talk. I want to speak on Mr. Abuaji's arrest. You hear some of these NDC members are saying you are trying to stop the person from being prosecuted, and that is not the issue. I'll be the last person to support any MPP member who misconducted him or herself in the office. I'll be the last person to defend. But the right process must be followed. Send the person to court. According to your words, this is not the first time he's going to Yoko. So why this Rambo-style arrest? That is where some of us are having problem. Why do you arrest him that way? If you think you have something against the man, arrange him to court. That is it. And there's one guy I respect so much in the media session. I'm so disappointed in him that the kind of politics he's doing. Elections are sorry or what is the name? I'm so disappointed in him.
What has he done?
I thought he should know better.
All right, Ebenezer, thank you so much. But I'll let.
And on NDC election, I said
yeah, Ebenezer, what do you want to say on Nasiru Nketia?
Yeah, NDC, the reason why NDC are struggling is that they don't have any candidate.
It's true.
That is why they are trying to push your mama for a third term, but it's not going to work.
Happen.
Yeah, looking at from Nasiru Nketia to forcing, none of them can stand the might of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So I'm not surprised they are pushing your mama for a third term, but I'm advising him to advance himself by 2028. If he dared, your mama tried, she'll be disgraced. Even more than the 2016, what he went through. I'm telling you.
All right, Ebenezer.
So that is it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. I'll let you land now, Sam. Go ahead.
I think Ebenezer has made my work very easy. Exactly the point I wanted to make. You see, the truth is that we are all not against accountability. We are all subject to the rule of law. So all what we are requesting is that let state institutions do their work as is expected of them. Raymond Acha is not the first person that have led IOCO. We have seen several people that have led IOCO, and his modus operandi, the way he's going about his duty, is wrong, is faulty. It is more of a political witch hunt than the job which is expected of him. Because look at the kind of gargantua bill he's slapping on people. Because at the end of the day, Dennis Abadjimrako is a young guy. What properties does he have for him to subject him to that gargantua bill? You understand? And the guy is someone who is always on our screens. He will not run from anywhere. Look at, he even traveled outside the country and he was returning. We have seen the likes of Sedinam Tamaklo and Co. that the court granted them opportunity to travel and they didn't come back again. So Dennis obviously was not running away. So why should you use that Rambo style to arrest him, to make sure that you keep him beyond the 48 hours duration that you have as a mandate, just to actually take him through a political persecution? But I want to tell the NDC government that this will not stop us from criticizing their incompetence. This will not stop us from pointing to the rot in their government. But what we are actually preaching is that at the end of the day, they should follow the law, because they will not continue to be in government. And I was very happy when their own people, I've heard Honorable Muntaka and Co., send message to them that whatever they are doing is wrong, because they will not be in government forever. Obviously, the MPP will come to power. And when we are in power, do you expect us to also go according? And I heard one senior member in MPP saying that from what they are doing, then as part of our bail conditions, we will tell them to go and bring the chin of Jesus Christ. If they will get that chin of Jesus Christ,
I should expect that is a jest. I should expect it a jest.
No, you see, the whole issue is that what they are doing is wrong.
But retaliatory politics won't take us anywhere.
It is not good. That is why we are telling them to stop. But if they continue, it will also force us that when we also come to power, we even do worse than they are doing. Because at the end of the day,
who does that benefit?
So that is why we are saying that we believe in accountability. If you think Dennis Abadjimrako has done something wrong, take him to court. And per our legal process, he is also entitled to a lawyer. He will come and prove himself at the court. At the end of the day, the court would conclude whether he is guilty of any offense or not.
All right.
Then the law will take its course. But this Rambo style attacking people, look at what they did to Chemaun to me. Look at what they did to
Let's not go beyond
what they did to
Wow,
Adnan and his wife. All those things are wrong.
All right,
and they have to stop it. Thank you.
Madam, I'll come to you. Ibrahim from Tema West joins us on the line. Hello, Ibrahim. Hello, Ibrahim.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, thank you for calling.
Thank you very much.
Share
You see, I'm wondering how anytime when MPP communicators on the platform, they start making noise. For example, this my brother, all what he just said, he just as if he, I don't know, he's having a problem in communication. Looking at the conversation he was talking about, we are talking about flooding. And the flooding doesn't matter whether you are NPP or NDC. And the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, with the people in the country, they sat down and said, no, let's look at 2 days sanitation. I'm asking you that on that day, what we're saying, do you expect only NDC people should clean the country? All of us, we are part. When this flooding occurs, it doesn't matter whether you are NDC or MPP. So sometimes we shouldn't politicize everything. You are a citizen of Ghana. You are a citizen in Ghana here. On that day, did you come out? I'm asking you, did you come out? So sometimes we shouldn't politicize everything like that. Look at you were talking about this aircraft and all those things. My brother, this thing was very tragic to everybody. Everybody was sad. Why did you compare that?
No, that's not what he said. Ibrahim, hold on. He did not compare the flooding to the aircraft accident. No, Ibrahim, hold on. No, even Mwadan will agree.
He has a problem with communication. The one who has a problem with
Ibrahim, hold on. What he said was that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was on grounds. And President Mahama was in the air assessing the situation. I think it would be very unfair for anybody in this country to ever reference that aircraft accident to make any political point or score political points.
Okay, so I want to ask him a question.
My brother is not comfortable at home.
Ibrahim, ask him your question.
Madam. During the sanitation cleanup, where was Bawumia? Did he come?
But you didn't see Bawumia going around.
This
tell me where Bawumia was. Tell me where he was cleaning. Bawumia was cleaning.
All right, Ibrahim.
Don't go there. Bawumia was cleaning.
Ibrahim, gentlemen, you don't want Ibrahim to talk
on issues.
Yeah.
And I want to applaud him. He's very. I think he will be the next.
Mwada. All right. Mwada is grateful.
I'm grateful.
All right. Thank you, Ibrahim. Mwada. They say you'll be the next to Sami JP. I come to you. Dennis Marcos Abuaje. Political targeting, persecution.
I want to start my conversation by reading Proverbs chapter 12 to 22. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord. You see, we shouldn't be making utterances just because you feel like it is not going your way. As a public official or a public figure, when you hold a public office, you should have it at the back of your mind that a day will come that you shall be called to account for your stewardship, for the responsibility that were given to you. And what is the conversation here? Miracle Abuaji is not anyone special. You get it right. That cannot be arrested, and that cannot be granted. That cannot be given a bill that is, equivalent to the alleged crime that he has committed. Do you get it right? Now, we are in this country, or we were in this country, that we had a leaked audio between the then Attorney General Godfrey Odami, right?
You know what? A moment. Madam, won't you let me moderate my conversation? Won't you let me moderate? Like I told Sami that I would not want us to bring in matters that will conflict the conversation. Okay, that's why I told him to stay within the remit. Let's stay within the remit of it.
He didn't stay within the remit. So, but let me.
Otherwise, you would make it seem like we are having a destructive show. It's not so. That's why I'm asking you to also please stay within the remit.
We had former NDC appointees in the likes of Atu Forsen. That was a target on the list of the MPP.
Sami, please. Sami, please let Sami, please let Mwadan finish.
No, but
it's okay. No problem. No problem.
This thing, hold on. We were in this
Mwadan, go ahead.
You get right. That the current finance minister was a serious target on the list of MPP. They subjected him to a lot of trauma.
To the rule of law.
But he never gave up. He stood the test of time until our rule of law and our constitution adjudged him that his innocence of the crimes that were levied against him. But President Akufo-Addo and the former finance minister was so bent on making sure that he goes to prison. And we have leaked audio from Odam then Attorney General. Do you get it right? Giving direction to the court about this particular issue. So let us not go there when we are talking about people that has criminalized state institution. Then it is the MPP. When this country, where a lot of state institutions like the Supreme Court became a subsidiary of the MPP, nobody complains.
Please, when it comes to Madam, hold on, both of you, please hold on, Madam, hold on. Both of you, please hold on. Madam,
MPP will tell her to go to court.
I will end the conversation if you do that. Madam, hold on.
What was in court?
Madam, hold on, please. When it comes to viewers, Sammy, please hold on. No, hold on. I'm very sorry for that. Here on ABC, hold on, I will come back to that. Madam, here on ABC News GH, one thing that we don't allow on this show is to run down our institutions such as our judiciary on matters like this. Please, let us never open our mouths. No, please. Let's be right. To Call the judiciary an appendage or a subsidiary. No, please hold on. Please hold on. It's very wrong. Where will the judiciary get the opportunity to defend themselves against what you're saying? Okay, we sit here to you as representing your party. Sami is representing his party. It will be very unfair when we subject institutions such as the judiciary to this. From what happened in 2024 up until now, we've seen how people have treated the judiciary in the media, and let us not perpetuate it. I plead with you.
That is fine. That is fine.
I plead with you.
That
so
is fine.
my viewers, I am very sorry that will say that. But Mwadan, when you come on my network, I don't know what you do on any other network, but on my show, please, the judiciary is one body that I would rather we treat with all of the decorum. If we have concerns, let us approach it in a better way than we do.
That is fine. I wish what you are telling me now, you gave him that education when you were saying that Iyoko has now become a political office, and Raymond Archer is not the first person to hold the office. When he was, downgrading Iyoko to become that one, we didn't have proper education. But that aside, as I said, if you are being given a public office, then you should be ready to account for your stewardship. When you go to rural communities, there are places that they don't even have potable water. There are places that don't even have, hospitals. But somebody allegedly stole 55 million Ghana cedis.
The same person says that in his detention. During his detention,
they ask him any questions.
Were you there to determine that they didn't ask him? Were you there? No, Matthew believe what anyone puts out there.
More than so, it means that beyond this, should we? The law has also stated that bail conditions should not be punitive. Bail conditions should not be draconian. So where do we pull the brakes? It's becoming one too many that anytime we hear of bail conditions, there are conditions that are high. And so when do we pull the brakes? Because at this point it is an investigation. When will it get?
Speaking for long.
I will take your final thoughts. When Madam, hold on.
When will we? Why is it that it's always uncomfortable?
When will it get into Parliament? Beg your pardon. When will it go to court so that we'll see the law take its course? Because at this point, it's fast becoming that arrests impose huge bail conditions, and then it becomes the circus that we are seeing.
You see, I was hoping that this conversation will be premised in a different context, where we can actually blame our agencies for failing to hold the tenets of accountability and hold the tenets of democracy so tight. But it has been downgraded to a political conversation, and that is where we will all tackle it. For me, bail conditions are subject to the crimes that you have committed, right? You don't expect
for you.
Yeah, I say for me.
What does the law say?
I say for me.
The law says.
So why are you the moderator? No, are you the moderator? When you're talking, say I shouldn't interfere. Now I'm talking, you are interfering. Take the show in.
You go.
Oh, let's not do this. Listen, let's not do this to ourselves. We are having an intellectual conversation. Let us proceed with that. You get right. So look, the case at hand and what Miracle Boaji and his counterpart is alleged of doing. Look at the counts. How many counts? About 7 counts, right? And it's not a small joke. for someone to, commit money laundering, stealing. That's what the counts that, when we read the counts, or I should read it for you.
Don't read it for me.
Yes, the counts are there. You did get right. So it is very important that we have an institution to hold those people accountable, right. And that is what we are doing. This is not a witch hunting. This is not to to run after people or former appointees. No, NDC is not interested in that.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Finally, I will give you both a minute each so that you can land on your conversations. You can speak on whatever you want, whether it is Johnson Esiedun Ketia, as Global Info Analytics says that 61% of NDC delegates want him to maintain chairmanship or presidency.
Okay,
so I'll start with you.
That is fine. So it is very important that when we have platforms of this nature, we should be very honest with our cherished viewers to actually push conversations that will yield the benefit of Ghanaians. We have seen and tasted MPP 8 years in government. We have seen how they dealt with accountability issues in this country. We have seen how they dealt with corruption related issues in this country. We have seen how they shielded their appointees in this country, while their own members of parliament in their time were calling for the removal of former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta. What do we see? But we now have a government that believes in the ideals of Ghanaian society, that believes that everybody's voice must be protected. And that is why we are having freedom of speech protected in this administration, and everybody is allowed to air their grievances and their views without sleeping and become afraid that security agencies will come and pick you. That is the system that we are having now. And we are having a system where the economy is thriving well, that people are happy with the NDC government, that today when you are going to the market and you are holding 200 cedis, you'll be able to plan your budget very well and know what you are going to buy. Not then times that inflation were just changing like our LED screens. But today, when you are going to the market, you can plan properly because of the economic indicators that the NDC government has spelled out over 1 year and so 6 months in office.
All right, thank you so much. 1 minute done. Sammy, 1 minute.
Abena, I'm not surprised my brother is struggling on this business issue. But what I want to say is that first of all, you see that strategy of DS, that whenever anyone is helping or championing the NPP agenda, that person will become a target. And what they do is that they don't follow the law. They don't take the person to court. But what they do is that they release a press statement, bring on that press statement wrongful issues. You understand? And I was very happy when you drew his attention that when they even invited Dennis Abuaji Miracles, that allegation, that 55 million allegation, they didn't even ask him any question around it. And that is what they've been doing, even including the Attorney General himself. On pertinent issues, he will choose to hold a press conference than taking the evidence to court for the person to be prosecuted. You see, I think that approach is wrong. That approach is disgraceful, and they have to go according to the law. You see, NDC government, currently, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is a failure in flood. He has failed. When it comes to Galamsey, he has failed. When it comes to job creation, they promised 24-hour economy.
5 seconds.
As we speak now, they've not done anything. You see, MPP government, when we were in power, His Excellency Nanado, we brought free SHS. We brought planting for food and jobs. We brought one district, one factory. Look at the ambulances and all the things we did. So I'm pleading on all Ghanaians, come 2028, let's kick the NDC out and bring His Excellency Dr. Baumia to come and rescue us.
Thank you,
very
Sammy.
much.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Rahman, for joining me this morning. Sammy Dakwa is the former MPP Communications Officer for Tema West Constituency, and Abdullahi Rahman Mwadan is a communications team member for the NDC. But before I wrap up the show, let me do some birthday wishes, and I'll start with Daniel Panu, who celebrates his birthday. This is a happy birthday to Daniel Panu, aka Swain, from MPA Student 2026. And so, Swain, Daniel Panu, a happy birthday to you. Enjoy the best of the birthday. Enjoy the best of the years ahead. Enjoy all that the years ahead bring you. A happy birthday to you. And also a happy birthday, belated happy birthday to Madam Mercy Boache. Happy 71st birthday to our amazing mother, Madam Mercy Boache. Thank you, Mom, for raising us with love, with strength, and unwavering faith. May the good Lord continue to bless you with good health, peace, joy, peace, and many more years in His grace. And they quote Psalm 91, verse 16, and it's coming from Derek and Esther, your children. And so to Madam Mercy Boache, belated happy birthday to you. It's your 71st birthday. Enjoy all the blessings that come with the celebration. And to all who celebrate their birthdays, a happy birthday to you. Again, big thank you to Sami Dakwa and Mwadan Abdullahi Rahman Mwadan for joining me on the conversation today. To you, my viewers, my callers, my texters, there's no ABC in the morning without you. Thank you so much. I remind you to keep your head up, to keep hope and faith alive, and not to relent in your pursuit of happiness. Enjoy the best of your Thursday.